Hello, welcome to the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan. In today's video, we're going to look at another way to humanize your beats in the MPC Standalone. Add that little human touch. Let's jump in. Okay, before I get into this, I just want to tell a quick story, and it is related to the video, or rather it's related to my videos. When I was at school, in the 80s, I had a history teacher called Mr. Hutchison. Now, most history teachers in my day, could be the case now as well, I don't know. Their job was just to teach us a load of dates, give us a load of information, who did this, who did that, what year they did it, when did the war start, when did the war finish, what king was here, what queen was there. That was it. Memorize a load of dates, that's your job done. Mr. Hutchison, and this is the reason why he was my favourite teacher and why I still think about him even now, he taught us how to gather evidence, look at what was in front of us, interpret it, and make up our own mind, rewrite our own history, I guess, with the evidence that we had in front of us. And I always really liked that. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen a few videos over the last couple of days and quite a lot of people talking in forums about videos, about people saying this is the way that you have to do it, this is the EQ that you should use, this is the method that you should use, this is the definitive way, this is how you should do it, basically. And what I always try and get across in my videos, and I say it a lot, and if you watch my videos, I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but what I try and get across in my videos is I try and inspire people. I try to show them something in the MPC, for instance, or mixing or mastering or whatever it may be. And I say, look, this is one of the ways that you can do it, but investigate, get stuck in, deep dive. You know, don't just copy my numbers. Don't just do this exactly as I've done it. Okay, maybe some people like being spoon-fed like that, but personally, myself, and I think most of the people that I speak to, they would rather be inspired. And I get a lot more out of my channel when somebody comes to me and says, I didn't know that you could do that in the MPC. And because you showed me that, I've now gone and done this. And I would much rather that was the case than me just throw, using the history teacher analogy here, throw a load of dates or numbers at you and you just memorize that and you just become this robot who can regurgitate numbers and dates or EQs or compressors or production techniques. You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that because I'm very involved in the forums with mixing, mastering, and the MPC and production and stuff, and I've seen a lot of people going on about this and a lot of kickback and a lot of content creators getting a lot of grief about this. Sorry, if this is boring you, please, like I said, you could skip past it, but it is kind of relevant, I think. And I just wanted to kind of fight the corner of content creators, I guess, but also, you know, point out the content creators that do sit there and say, this is the only way that you can do it. I don't think you should do it like that. Isn't it better to inspire people so that they learn they look at what you've done and then they take it a step further? So all that said and done, you could have skipped it. If you have skipped it, then now we're going to get into the instructional part of the video. Today, we're going to look at another way of humanizing beats in your MPC. And there's a ton of different ways of doing it. This is just one of the ways. And the thing is the way the method that I'm going to show you today, there's also a ton of ways to do that as well. But you might not be aware of this particular way of doing it. And it might inspire you into taking things to another level and doing things in a different way and going down a different rabbit hole. Okay, so I've got a beat in the MPC. I'm not going to play any more of that because I'm going to get flagged if I do. Basically, what I've done is I have chopped out a snare drum, a hi-hat, and a kick. And I've put them onto a program in the MPC, or a track, as it's now called in MPC 3. So yeah, snare, hi-hat, kick drum. Just make sure those levels are okay. Yeah, they seem to be all right. Okay, now, what we can do, as you know, boom bap or whatever, we've got the hi-hat, we've got the kick and the snare. We can just do a standard, just a beat like that if we want. There's nothing wrong with doing that at all. I've got hair on my pad. Again, honestly, my dogs and my cats just shed hair everywhere. I'm constantly, you don't see this, but before I do a video, every single time I have to brush and hoover around my MPC because there's just cat and dog hair on everything. And they don't even come up onto this disc. They know better, but their hair still gets up here. It's like their little wind up thing. Have some hair, Conan. So, as I said, that's the standard thing that we can do. We can just play the beat like that. But there's various ways that you can humanize that. And one of the ways of doing it is using layers in the MPC. Now, this is a really, really old technique. It's not new in any way whatsoever. But in MPC 3, there's several different ways to do it. And you have more layers than you used to. You now have 8 layers rather than what used to be 4 layers. And with that, you can obviously humanize your beats a lot more using this technique. Now, what I've done is I have copied this snare onto these top 3 pads here. It's exactly the same snare. The reason why I've done that is because it's easier for me to show you what I'm going to do. So in Program Edit, as you probably know, if you go into here, it's going to show you your different samples each time you hit a pad. And here you'll see layer 1 and you can see layer 2 through 8. And basically each individual layer you can assign a sample. So if you wanted to, for instance, you could assign on this snare drum, I could assign the hi-hat on there if I wanted to, so that it played the hi-hat at the same time. Can't hear it, but it is actually playing it. Let's take that off. But what I'm going to do, and this is like I said, very, very old technique, but there might be some people that didn't know about it, is basically what you can do with this is you can layer different snares on each different layer, and you can change some settings in the MPC, which I'll show you, to play those different snares at different times. You can get them to play exactly when you want them to, or you can get them to play randomly, etc. Like I said, I'm going to show you. So the reason why I've put these 3 up here on their own is because what I want to do is I want to change how those particular snare drums sound. And this is just the way that I do it. You can do it different ways, but this is the way that I do it. I'll add some sounds, add something a little bit different, make the snares a little bit different, and then I'll flatten those pads. Another thing that people might not be aware that you can still do in MPC 3. I've seen loads of people say you can't flatten pads anymore. You can, and I'll show you. And then what I'll do is I'm going to layer those snare drums, and I'm going to show you ways that you can randomize, etc., so that when you play back your beat, it will play the snare slightly differently, and therefore make it sound a little bit more human. Because obviously when a drummer hits a snare drum, he doesn't hit it the same way every single time. He might hit it on the edge a little bit more, he might hit it in the center, he might hit it harder, he might hit it softer. So let's take this snare, for instance, take that one at the top. We'll go into Program Edit. Let's just change the pitch a little bit. Let's go into Amp Envelope and maybe change the, can we do it like that? We can, can't we? That's probably going to be a bit extreme. Okay, it's changed it a little bit. The point of the exercise is I'm just changing the snare a little bit. Okay, so I've changed that snare. As you can hear, it's different to that one now. The pitch is a little bit different. That does happen with drums. Sometimes where you might hit the snare drum, it might change the pitch a little bit. Perhaps not as much as that, but it will change it a little bit. So what I can do now, if you go to the top here, when you're in Program Edit, you can flatten the pad. So you'll see that it's already on that pad, etc. You can change the name of it, but it's automatically going to add a number so that you don't write over the original snare drum. We can leave it as snare 1 and we'll just go do it. So now on this pad, I've bounced the sample with the effects inside it. The effects were the amp envelope and the change in pitch. Okay, so let's go for this one. In this one, let's maybe change, I can never remember which one it's in. I think it's actually in Dynamics. Let's change the sound of the snare here. Let's give it a bit more of, take a bit of sustain off. Okay. Again, I can bounce that, Gonna have to call that 2 now. Okay. And as you can see, I've bounced the pad, so the effects aren't there anymore. It's bounced, it's done, but it's a different snare drum. And then, you know, for the last one, let's pitch that one up a little bit. Okay, so we've got 3 different snares there. Let's just bounce that one. Let's call that number 3. Do it. Done. We've now bounced 3 new samples. So in effect, we've got 4 different snare drums now, but it's all from the original snare drum. Now, you obviously can do a lot more to that, more with the transients, more with the envelopes. You can filter it a little bit. You can EQ it slightly differently. You can chop off the start a little bit if you want. There's so many different things that you can do, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to think for yourself, but I'm just showing you this as a basic idea so that you can take it to the next level. But now I have 4 different snares. So if I go into Program Edit now, on here, I can now lay different snares. Now that's going to sound mental at the moment. And on this one, I can do that one. And then on this one, I can do the last one. Right, now obviously now I've got 4 snare drums playing at the same time. So that's not great. So what I want to do, when you see that, this pad will see at the top, so you'll know which one you're working on. Pad A3 it's saying. Now normally layer play, which is at the top here, will be in velocity. Now this little trick is literally a matter of changing it to random. Now every single time I hit the snare drum, it's going to play each one of those layers at a random point. So you can hear the one with the harder transient, the pitched up one, the pitched down one, but it's completely random. Random. I mean, it's as simple as that. It seems so straightforward, but I do know, because I spoke to somebody about this the other day, that they didn't even know it existed, and they've had an MPC for years. And it's a really, really simple trick and an old trick, and I love it because what it can do, I mean, obviously, that's not the best way that I've separated the snares up there, but you get the point, don't you? You can take one drum sound or one vocal or one whatever sound, and you can change it very, very slightly, bounce it to separate pads, and then layer it in here, however you want to layer it, and then set that to random in global on the right pad, and you immediately have different drums. It just sounds more human, basically, although not in this case because that's not the best examples, but I think you get the point. So there you have it. As I said multiple times in the video, it's not a new idea. It's an old idea, but it's a really cool, quick, clever way to just add a bit of a human touch to your beats in the MPC Standalone. So thanks for watching. This is the Quakes Motel. Done this last bit about 8 times now. So thanks for watching. This is the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan. Till next time.